Okay guys, so just to quickly recap what constitutes a valid tax invoice. Obviously the name of the supplier must be on the tax invoice. The VAT number of the supplier, it must say tax invoice. Our name must be on the tax invoice. Make sure that the name is correct, because if this name is not correct and you process it into your books and you claim the VAT on it, this will not constitute a valid tax invoice, and SARS, it can actually trigger a VAT audit if there's a refund due to the company. So VAT number, it must say tax invoice, name of the supplier's physical address, our name, and also very important, the invoice must be dated, because that affects what tax period the VAT should actually have been claimed in if you're on the invoice basis. Going further down the invoice, you will see a subtotal amount excluding VAT and the VAT amount, and then the total including VAT. Now what I want to point out as well, and this is a very important check for you ladies, and that is you need to be very, very careful, because sometimes this amount here, companies will increase that amount and make it 2,500 Rand, and you'll end up with a 14,000 Rand invoice. And the problem with that is we then end up paying this amount. We claim a large amount of input tax, obviously, on this invoice. And then what happens is they then underdeclare their VAT, or they might not even be VAT registered. And then they claim this entire amount for themselves instead of paying over the VAT amount to the South African Revenue Service. Another very important check as well, doesn't necessarily mean that fraud is occurring, but you can see the name of this company, the suppliers, Selakili Trust. If you look here on the bottom, there's the bank details. Okay, Selakili Trust. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is fraud that's going on, but usually the name of the company, the bank account, should correspond to the name of the supplier, usually. And what's very important, if this information looks a little bit suspect, and if they are VAT registered, what you should then do is go on to the website vatsearch.co.za, and you can actually check whose VAT number this is. Does it belong to this company, or does it belong to some other company? I hope that you enjoyed this.